Find a seat if you can!
What's up guys, my name is Slevin, and today we'll be discussing the new expansion of Hearthstone. More specifically, why it sucks. Now hang on, don't get your undies in a knot. I can already feel you frantically typing out your intense feelings of hatred towards me, but keep in mind, I'm not referring to the game itself, Hearthstone. I think it's a pretty good trading card game. It does have some problems, but nothing to keep players from thoroughly enjoying themselves. Well, until now. Now, let me start off by saying sorry for being a bit late to the party. I don't usually do this type of videos because they take quite a bit to set up and record and edit. Also, I don't play nearly enough Hearthstone, and so the expansion released and I had no idea, because I'm such a big Hearthstone fan. From the start, you might say that already weakens my point here, and you'd be right if I were really talking about Hearthstone. Hearthstone's just the most out there game at the moment, and while this problem has popped up in many trading card games along the years, it's usually been shut down or corrected in the errata after the community expressed their unhappiness regarding the issue. Not so with Hearthstone though! Oh no, players here just jumped right in. I can't wait! Oh, what's the card list? Top 10 reasons to play it, top 10 best cards. Not a single complaint to be found anywhere. No one going online and saying, Whispers of the Old Gods, while impressive in constructions and ideology, has ruined the metagame of Hearthstone. That's right kids, that's what I'm here to talk about. Metagaming in trading card games. It's no wonder Whispers has yet to pop up in official competitions. It can't! And yet, no one's asked why? Instead, we even have Forbes showing off what they found when they opened 100 Whispers packs. So let's get down to text of brass, yes? Throughout the years, many trading card games have popped up, some more successful than others, but the one that spawned it all, that sparked first the imagination and then the mind, was Magic the Gathering. This game was published in 1993 and was the first of its kind. The first few sets were strange and unbalanced, a thing of chance sometimes, but they were the building blocks of what would come to be one of the greatest trading card games ever created, with over 20 million players worldwide in 2015. And how did this happen? How did they manage to stay on top of the game? It couldn't have been nostalgia or fans of the storyline flocking to the game. There was no such thing for Magic the Gathering. They had to work their butts off to get this going, even with the backing of Wizards of the Coast. It was due to the fanbase pointing out whatever they discovered wrong with each set by becoming invested not just in the cards, but also in what the cards could do together. What unforeseen combinations would become statistically superior by a wide enough margin to be considered broken. Because nobody defends weak cards or decks, those are just throwaways. But decent decks, built lovingly and with much time and effort put into them being suddenly shut down by a one-trick pony, those need defending. The most obvious example for me, while I was playing Magic the Gathering, was the Affinity deck, specifically the Artifact Affinity. Let me kind of explain the mechanics here. With the new Mirrodin block coming out, a great number of artifacts came out that changed the game completely. Artifact lands, low-cost artifact creatures, and most importantly, creatures whose cost would be reduced by the number of other artifacts, creatures, and lands alike that a player currently had in play. Now you'd think that this would be a simple stunt, like others have been attempted in the past. Slivers, Samurai, Goblins, those were actually pretty good. Anyway, but no, this one went all out. This ensured that a player playing an Artifact Affinity deck could, instead of playing maybe 2 or 3 cards in the first round, maybe getting out a decent creature, they could have a 9-card drop, including big creatures, which is impressive considering that a player only starts with 7 cards in their hands. And that's not all. A quick start means that the player has been left with no cards in their hand, hence a considerable slowing of the game for at least a couple of rounds. But the problem with Affinity is that you're quite likely to just keep going. Creatures could be played at virtually no cost by now, even in the second round, spells cast similarly, and, if you were really lucky, a Ravager might also drop into play to just round out the complete steamrolling you've just given the opponent. This deck was so powerful that a lot of the Mirrodin block, along with the following 2 blocks, saw mostly decks that focused a lot of their power not towards being the best deck around, but being the best deck at surviving Artifact Affinity, and also being able to fare decently against other decks. Now, you can imagine this made a lot of players very unhappy, and several cards were corrected by Wizards of the Coast, and the Arcbound Ravager was banned completely from standard play, which goes to show that a proper community giving feedback and taking care of their favorite pastime will be able to defend it against all odds, which is nice. But this hasn't made the fact that a single bad block can completely destroy the game style of the rest of the game any less real or infuriating. So back to Hearthstone, and Whispers of the Old Gods. The meta-breaking block here poses the following problem. Any player not playing a Whispers deck is going to lose. Especially new players, they've got no chance. Well, I might have exaggerated. As I said, I'm not that big of a Hearthstone player, and definitely not a good one, but seeing so many players in standard play only using Whispers decks got me thinking, why is that? It's clearly not just hype. A lot of players like to keep the decks that they've gotten to know and love instead of just jumping to the next block. So why the overwhelming tendency towards only using the new block? Well, it's pretty straightforward. While Magic the Gathering's Affinity deck had to be thought out and optimized and gave a lot of people the opportunity to counter-optimize, Hearthstone's Whispers deck is a no-brainer. You get these things that enhance your Cthulhu, and then you play Cthulhu, and then it's pretty much a race to see who can pull out their Cthulhu first. No pun intended. It's no wonder it's not being played in official tournaments. It couldn't be. Well, it could, but the inherent competitive value of said tournaments would drop thoroughly. Nobody wants to see the same two decks just with a few differences pit against each other. We want to see diverse and complex decks, played in intricate and intelligent ways, each player trying to think 2 steps ahead of the opponent. With Whispers, all that's happened is given players more cards to buy, but not more decks to play. And the worst thing is that there aren't even any obvious countermeasures. There's no meta that can be named as the definitive counter to a Cthulhu deck. In Magic the Gathering, you at least had creatures and spells that could directly destroy artifacts, thus weakening the overall table and cost control of the Affinity deck. Here, due to the many Battlecry abilities that just do their effect and then stay done, a proper counter is virtually impossible. I'm probably missing a lot of points here since I am no experienced Hearthstone player, but I am an experienced trading card game player. For all I know, there might actually be a couple of decks out there that have managed to counter the Whispers deck, but I haven't seen any so far. But what I do know is that Whispers does not so much destroy the previous meta as completely render it useless, replacing it completely in Force. I hope Blizzard will figure this out soon enough, so as to make the appropriate changes and maybe even see the new block in competition, but that's not gonna happen in its current state. And how can this happen? Well, only if you, the community, look at the game you know and love with critical eyes and say, yeah, maybe this has gone too far. If you don't say anything, then expect your game to be made by producers and not gamers. Don't let the man make your game into whatever profiteering machine they want. If you're gonna give them the money anyway, make it your game, not theirs. Well, that's enough of my rant for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this short presentation. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment down below telling me what you think on the whole situation. Do you think the Whispers block is going overboard, or do you think I'm wrong and are fine with the way things are now? Let me know, I'm happy to hear all of your opinions. And if you want to see some more videos, head on over to my channel and hit that subscribe button. Have fun guys, and keep gaming. Cheers.